this is what's coming up. If you like my content, please like, subscribe, share, comment. It all helps. Thanks. Okay, so I'm going to go through a technique that I use for atmospheric trees now. So I'm going to wet the page. And I'm going to add some gum arabic. So I've just poured on about a teaspoon of gum arabic onto there. I'm going to spread it round within the water. So this is going to help later lift some of the paint out, and it's also going to slow the flow of the paint. That's two things that gum arabic does very well. You must remember to wash it off your brushes so it doesn't transfer onto the next painting. So I've got round number 10. First thing I'm going to do is load it with water and dip into some ultramarine blue. So I'm using neat paint today. And you'll see as soon as I come on with this that the flow isn't the same. It's really slowed it down. I just wanted a little bit of a sky background in here. I've got some green that I've made up with ultramarine blue and a gamboge yellow. Again, it's pretty neat. It's coming in. Just going to get a grassy area here. So that was with my round number 10. Rinse that off. I'm going to come in with a round number 6. So I'm dipping into neat gamboge yellow. I'm going to start to get some ideas of where I want this tree to be. Dabbing in. The blue and the yellow are making a bit of a green tone anyway. I'm going to dab into the green. I'm going to flow this up. It's the start of tree trunks. Rinse that off. Load a brush. I'm going to dab into some burnt umber and start to come in with that. Now can you see how it's just staying put? It's really slowed the flow of the paint. And what I'm going to do is start to take this through a little bit more. I want more to start to mix through with this green. This may seem mad, but you've got to hang in with me to see the final result. It does really work. I'm just dabbing through, creating bits of dark. You get these really nice effects happening. Flow through branches. There's little bits, get little twiggy bits coming off. Little bits of ivy and all sorts on trees. I'm going to dip into the blue and take that blue into the burnt umber now. So I'm going to make those trunks nice and dark. Still got a bit of a burnt umber on my brush. The ultramarine blue just gives the darkness. Take a bit more dark up here. Cast some shadow down here. Dab back into the blue. Back into the burnt umber. Get some shrubbery down here. And then straight into the green. Just getting a bit more of a natural effect down here. I'm going to take a bit more of this burnt umber up and through. You've got to be brave. You put it on dark now, but I'm actually going to show you how to lift this off. And the darker that you do this, the better this works. All these lovely soft fluffy bits work really nicely later. We can add more green later, but just make an assessment if you want any more bits of green in. I'm just going to pop a little bit more in. Then I'm going to dry this off really, really carefully. Just a little bit more green down here. And a little bit more. With that burnt umber there. Okay, I'm going to dry it off slowly and carefully. Okay, so that's now dried really well, and you can see it's already got some really beautiful effects. The gum arabic slows everything down, and you can get some really nice atmospheric bits appearing. Overall, it's already looking really pretty and quite atmospheric, but I'm going to take it now to another level. So what I've got is a bit of natural sponge, and I'm going to wet that sponge, wring it out a little bit. I'm going to dab in where I want lighter foliage. So I'm dabbing with water and just letting the water lift the paint a little bit. This can sometimes take a few minutes to happen. You need to vary the amount of water so you know you're getting the right amount. Too much and it'll take too much off, too little it won't do anything. So it's a bit of a practice thing. And then if I just dab with kitchen towel, you can see that it's starting to lift the paint. So this is something that you find very difficult to do with watercolour, and that is take dark away. But by doing this way, you're getting a lovely level of flowing atmosphere that you wouldn't get if you tried to do it in a different way. There's randomness to it. You could try it with masking fluid, but you wouldn't get that same softness. This is a technique that I've developed and I'm sharing with you on YouTube. If you're really enjoying this technique, please do share it. I'm a small channel and I'd like to grow if I can and share this with other people. I've got a lot to teach you. So you can see that it's just lifting out. So all those dark bits, I'm now getting light foliage, but I've got that beautiful softness below and a softness of the foliage, which you can't get in any other way. So you're just going to carry on doing this till you're happy with the level of foliage you're going to be able to paint later. Take a little bit down onto there. Don't want to take too much. Okay, I'm going to dry that off again. Nicely dry now, so we're going to come on and we're going to create some more darks before we then come to paint the lighter foliage that we've just lifted off. So I'm going to come in with around number 6, and this is a mix of the burnt umber and the blue, so that I'm getting a really nice dark tree trunk now. Now the trick is to not eliminate everything that we've done on that first layer. So we can come through and use little bits of where we've lifted out to know where those tree trunks need to progress through. Pop a little bit of one here. The beauty of doing this in this way is you're getting a really nice soft effect, and you get a real good sense of light. Now when you get the dense trees and you get that sort of that dense foliage, but you've got the light showing through, this just works perfectly for it. So I'm going to start to bring some branches through. Without these little bits of dark now, it's a beautiful picture, but it just doesn't have that impact. The dark's important for it to have that impact of the light, if that makes sense. You've got to have the darks to gain the light. Because these are quite full trees, we don't need to do a lot in relation to trunks and branches, but we do need a few. I'm really focusing on this area. I can take some up here. I'm going to swap now down to a rigger, which is a long thin brush, this one, and just start to pull through a few finer bits of detail. So the more that you cross over this section, the more that glowing light is going to work. Doing a few little bits of branches. In other places, but don't go mad. You want that focus to be there, that lovely dark to be happening there. This sort of crisscross effect, and any sort of wispy bits down here just works really nicely. not going to do too much more. It's tempting to just carry on, but you'll get the idea. You can also take a few little twiggy bits into any of this softness here. Again, it's just adding to the atmosphere. You've got hard and soft edges, always work well together. But it's that light that you're capturing behind. Okay, so I'm going to dry that off and we'll come in for the last stage. Okay, so for this last stage now, I've gone back to the sponge. I've got a little bit of paint on here, not too much water, and I'm going to break through these areas of light. So this works very nicely. You can add more foliage as well if you want to the tree. This is just really colouring in those lighter areas, so you get that sense of fullness. You've got to be careful that you don't take too much water on at this stage, because the gum arabic will still lift. So you've got to be very light to the touch. I'm just working through these areas. Come down to this bit at the bottom, add a little bit there. And then if I dip into a bit of the green mix that we've used earlier, I can come in and break some of that up if I want to. I can bring some onto the lower areas. It's really just building what you want. You can come in with a brush as well, so if I take around number 6, if you wanted to be a bit more precise about it, and then dipped into a bit of a green mix, I can come in and get a few more precise areas. You can blend through some of these darker bits as well. If you need to just blend at the top, just rub them a little bit and they will all blend through. So it's really giving you options to go from dark to light with watercolour, which you can't normally do without great difficulty. So I'm going to add a little bit more foliage, take some finer foliage to the end of the tree. This is just with a sponge, take a little bit this side. It's very easy to go light to dark. It's not so easy to bring dark to light. If you want to add a few dark bits in with a sponge, you can do as well. Sponging's wonderful. Once you've got it practiced, it's wonderful. You just get really, really atmospheric trees. Just take a few little bits of dark in places. Okay, hope you've enjoyed it.